Tens of millions of people do it. Chat online, using the internet, sharing whatever. It becomes their own little world, a world to date that's been pretty one-dimensional, flat. But now a Boston-based company hopes 5 years of R&D and $25 million will pay off as they take chat to the third dimension, where you can be anybody you want.
Worlds online. Once a revolutionary technology, allowing countless people from across the globe to find community in a 3D virtual world. Regarded as the first metaverse, gaining massive popularity, national media coverage, and the chance to work with major brands and celebrities. Today, it exists under a very real threat of becoming lost media, as the official servers have recently shut down without warning, with, to this day, no word from any support staff or from Thomas Kidron, the man behind it all, leaving the game's small community confused and broken, scrambling for information on what's going on, trying to find alternatives, trying to make their own servers. Some are even attempting to replicate the game entirely, all to save the experience they've enjoyed for so long. The game itself is left as a hollow shell, playable, but robbed of its purpose. This game, these corridors, these rooms, large and small, were all made for people to come together and spend time with each other. Without the servers, none of that is possible. The worlds are left barren. The many colorful, inviting spaces, vacant. Advertisements for merchandise and world events are reduced to generic banners and broken links. It's quite eerie walking through these empty corridors, knowing that there was once a time where many people would be passing by, going about their days. Someone greets us from a dark corner, a lonely NPC. Its face is shrouded by the broken textures that plague my instance of the game. With everything so empty, it's easy to wonder what the point of these spaces even is. I mean, the paths are cool and all, but they all lead to essentially nothing. But there isn't supposed to be anything in or at the end of any of these paths. They all should be filled with players going about their days, hanging around while they spoke in the text chat, spoke over Skype, messaged over MSN, from a state, country, or even a continent away.
Hi, welcome to Hang. Step right through these doors to see what's happening today in the music scene.
But now, having lost its official servers, it's no longer possible for these players to gather in these spaces. Now these worlds sit, robbed of their purpose. In the physical and metaphorical sense, this world really is empty. 40301, and this is the stillness of empty worlds. For this video, I really don't want to focus on the concept of liminal spaces, even though it's kind of unavoidable when dabbling in this sort of thing. When it comes to liminal spaces and things of that nature, I think we all get it at this point. What I really want to focus on are like concepts of loneliness and isolation, encountering the abandoned and being the abandoned. I'm not really making this video to try to teach you something new. I really don't care about any of that. I just want us to explore and immerse ourselves into these concepts, just because. I don't really care about any deeper meaning than that right now. The concept of extreme isolation is well depicted in the works of a creator going by the moniker Briscoe Park, whose videography and photography work has been focused on showcasing abandoned man-made structures in rural areas. But these aren't your typical rural farm life videos and photos. With the darkness of the night and the help of a high-powered flashlight, these lonely structures take on a much more cold, eerie appearance. With such unnatural lighting, it shows the environment in a way that looks very alien. Human figures, putting into perspective the scale of their environment and any buildings nearby. Red light cascaded on the environment, making your mind wonder if this really is a photo taken on Earth. Red light pouring out of buildings, making you wonder what could be happening inside. All these photos give off an extreme sense of isolation, being very far away from anything that you would recognize. It may even remind you of a long road trip to a place you've never been before, The excitement of something new, but the fear of the unknown.
We need a thread of your most terrifying encounters. I was trying to take a photo of a building behind this guy and he pulled a gun on me. Tricked him into getting a photo of him just incandescent. I went missing and they recovered my camera. Should I make a thread?
Now, while this sounds like obvious satire, Briscoe Park's next reply in this thread is a bit more believable.
Went to location scout earlier that day. Told him I would return at dark. He agreed. I returned. He didn't remember me. He later told me that he had a lawn mowing accident and had a head injury. He was extremely unpredictable. Had minute-to-minute mood swings.
Listen, I don't know if this is true, and I really don't care. What if you were to encounter someone in a place you thought was abandoned, and that person was not only unstable, but also had a weapon? That's a real-life Resident Evil / Silent Hill encounter. The videography of Briscoe Park drops us into the reality that the still photos depict, showcasing these long-abandoned structures at their final resting grounds. It's so bizarre. I mean, look at this. Where the hell is everything else? It's not even enough to blame how isolated this place seems on the lighting. As we've seen in the photography, the places Briscoe Park goes to are usually very expansive rural landscapes. There's not even so much as a dirt path leading to anything. It's like these structures had just fell from the sky into an undisturbed grassy field. As someone who doesn't live in a rural area, it's extremely bizarre to just see one singular building with like acres of land surrounding it. It's not like it's an old house on a farm surrounded by other farm buildings. It's alone. It's just the house with nothing surrounding it for what seems like miles. The interiors of the structures showcased in Briscoe Park's videos are in various states of decay, obviously, now only serving as home to birds and rodents. Why the hell are these things even still standing? Why do they seem to be the sole survivor in the empty world around it?
In ghost towns like this, it's very rare to see so many still standing wooden buildings. Out in Nevada in the desert, where I usually do videos, the wood is pilfered because wood is scarce. Up in Montana, the whole state, or at least the whole western side of the state, is forest. So no need to disassemble a building. You'll just cut some more lumber and build something new.
There is more to Briscoe Park's videos than what's presented at face value here, but that's sadly outside of the scope of this video. Maybe we'll circle back in the future, but for now...
You lie awake, unable to take your mind off of what you discovered out in the swamp. Tomorrow, you will return to that place. Do you remember the overgrown man from when you were a child? He said that you must go to the meadow alone. You always wondered what he had meant by that.
People Still Live Here, a new and ongoing video series by Kane Pixels, showing us the world of a PC video game from 2005 in its 8th revision. It's apparently a reconstruction of events experienced and documented by a Clifton J. Saywell, whose obituary can be found in an old obscure newspaper clipping. We are introduced to an expansive green hills landscape with a few trees and a windmill surrounding this stone structure that serves as our way in and out of this space. We are immediately given a task to find 3 items and then leave before the sun sets. A watch, a compressor, and a wampum. There doesn't seem to be any correlation here. And with that, we're left to traverse this world. Alone, of course, without a map or anything to point us in a direction, with nothing but the wind and the grass underneath our feet to listen to. Even these things that resemble the horns of gramophones sit in silence. Our first item can be found under this lonely tree, isolated from the rest. As we continue, we notice that our little tree area is not the only thing here. There are other points of interest to go to, if we are willing to stray into the grassland, away from our starting place. Stepping into this yellow house and hearing the howling wind become muffled, we find some sort of chart that we are unable to understand, as we haven't yet seen anything like these displayed here. Stepping back outside, we can see that there really are things way in the distance, jutting out from the smooth contours of the hills. A fountain sitting area, just like you would find at the center of a park. The wampum is here on a bench. And this area, with these standing hoops that we recognize from the chart. Just by walking around these, we can come to the conclusion that we need to look through them and they will point us towards something. This is what the chart was for. We need to look through these two in this direction, and they point us to what looks like a large building far in the distance. And so we go, hoping that the final item is there. Again, we only have until sunset to collect these items. If we don't do so by then, who knows what the consequence will be? Who knows how long we really have? And who knows what could be out here with us? As something darts back and forth in front of us, we realize that we are not the only thing here. At least, not the only thing moving around here. We climb over the final hill and reach the building, surrounded by a large fence. There's no way through the fence. The only way inside seems to be by going underground through this concrete structure. A generic office building and an unmarked asphalt parking lot with no cars. Inside is a very dull office space. Gray floors, white walls, water dispensers, empty shelves, and a lever-activated shutter door.
Oh, thank goodness. Finally someone has opened the door. I've been stuck in this room forever. The shepherd's not mad, is he? I was just trying to look at the computers to see where my favorite people were moved to. It's been a long time since I've read computer words, though, so I can't figure out how to get their location out of the machine. I think it's time for me to go home. Thank you for opening this door.
So we really aren't the only ones here. From what this man said, there are other people scattered around this world. People who he knows but can no longer find. And he also mentions someone he calls the Shepherd, who seems to have some position of authority as he fears his anger. The man leaves the building, and we return to the server room to find the final item, the compressor. And now we need to return home, so we close the shutter and make our way out of the building.
Hey you! Over here!
Someone calls to us from the other side of the fence.
Hey you! Over here!
It's the man from before.
Hey, you're not going to tell anyone I was here, are you? I mean, you're technically allowed to, but I would really appreciate it if you didn't.
As the man pleads with us to keep our encounter a secret, something approaches.
It is important to respect.
The thing from before snatches the man away, and before we can even realize what's happened, they're over the hill. We should return home. We get over the hill, locate our circle of trees, and make our way over there. As we are within reach of our exit, the sound of that thing draws closer. People still live here. A world with nowhere to hide, and yet it probably hides much more than we can imagine currently. with an art style that's an always welcomed blast from the past. With the world's bright environment, open landscape, and simple tasks, it's very easy to relax into an experience like this. But what of the unknowns? Why are we collecting seemingly random items? What's the significance? What's with this wandering railroad sign thing? What's its purpose? Why did it take that man away? And where to? Who is the shepherd, and why was the man from before afraid of him? Who are these people? And why are they still living here? Angela Knife, an incomplete experience by Eric Jasso and the now late Leo Jasso. In development, only currently having a demo. This is our small, dark, but somewhat comforting motel room. The one place where we can truly feel safe. For now, nothing is on the TV, and no one is outside it seems. Not that we can see very far. Our room, minimally furnished, and decorated with only this framed photo of a chair. In the bathroom mirror, we take a long look at ourselves, and for some reason, shake our head. What the fuck? Our door was open, and before we can process anything, it closes, and we hear someone running away. Our now violated privacy cuts clean through our sense of safety. This place now feels hostile. Can't a lady take a shower? Is there no decency in this world? We take a good look at our room. Nothing is missing, but something is here that wasn't before. A cassette tape placed on top of the chest of drawers. We take it and place it into the player atop the TV and watch the footage back, showing the perspective of someone with a camera, walking around what we can assume is our dark motel lot, filming a window where someone can be heard, showering. They walk around the rest of the motel with not a single light on. The motel sign is off. The front lobby is empty. This place seems abandoned, save for the one room. And this cat who runs away. From here, the events that take place seem to be from the past. We walk a dark, empty street, alone, with the only semblance of other people being the very lit skyline that's too damn far for it to matter. But forget about all that. There's a missing cat. With this cat being the only form of life we've laid eyes on this entire time, we're drawn to it, follow after it. And hey, its owner is looking for it, so we can't just leave it here. And so we approach the motel, which is very, very empty. Even with the sign indicating that there are no vacancies, the parking lot is empty. The pool is empty. The doors are locked, including what I assume is the rec center and the front lobby. Our hand is never held during this experience, so we're left to search at our own pace, falling deeper and deeper into a sense of loneliness. You know, with a skyline so bright, you would think that there would be people driving by, heading towards and away from it. But there isn't, and for some reason, this heightens my feelings of isolation. Is it worse to know that we are completely alone in this world? Or is it worse to know that there are other people, but also know that we will never, ever reach them? The last thing we had seen in the recording was a cat being in the empty pool. And that's where we find the poor thing, under a cinder block. This is not our cat. Ours runs off again, and we follow after. However, as we walk, we notice that the front desk lights have turned on. And so we try again to get inside. Empty, of course. A logbook, a digital clock, and a bell sit on the front desk. The logbook, of course, lists the motel guests and the times they've checked in. The time on the clock is 10:12. It's frozen on that time. In the logbook, we can find that a Jane Doe had checked in at that time. We leave the book on that page, ring the bell, and a vacancy opens. I mean, I'd rather not walk that distance back to society in this darkness, so we may as well get a room for the night. This is our room, but a light is already on. And that sound is the sound of the shower running behind this locked door. Is someone already here? We've made a mistake. We should just leave quietly as to not terrify who's already here. Someone has arrived. Now we are pinched between someone unaware of us, just trying to enjoy their shower, and someone else. The TV comes to life on its own. The channels are all fried, except for this one. A live feed from a camera in a motel room. This motel room. Terrified and confused, we go to the camera and attempt to take it down. But now the someone else is coming in. The Angela knife demo is rich in atmosphere that pushes a visceral sense of loneliness onto you, only having indirect interactions with what we can only assume are other people. The only visual contact we make with another living thing is with a cat that wants nothing to do with us. The very spacious, empty environment and minimal music make for an experience that is both foreboding and relaxing. I've played this demo many times and have put it down just to pick it up again months later. I'm gonna need more, because all it took was just this short demo to make this one of my favorite empty worlds. This game, of course, is still in development, and I've known about it for a very long time now. I will be waiting eagerly for the full release, because I need to know what the full story entails. Thank you all for watching, and until the next thing, I'm done.